Have you ever felt like your spirit is running on empty? You pray, you meditate, you try to stay positive, but deep inside you feel drained, disconnected, and tired of carrying life's weight. This is what we call spiritual burnout, a silent exhaustion of the soul. But here's the truth: burnout is not the end, it's a warning, a signal that your spirit needs renewal. In this video, we'll uncover 5 powerful steps to protect your energy and keep your soul alive, vibrant, and unshakable. Understanding spiritual burnout. Spiritual burnout is one of the most hidden yet powerful struggles people face today. Unlike physical exhaustion, which you can often see and feel, spiritual burnout creeps in quietly, draining your inner strength without you even realizing it. It is not about being physically tired, it is about feeling empty inside. It is when you keep showing up on the outside, but inside your soul feels dry, disconnected, and heavy. So what exactly is spiritual burnout? It happens when your inner energy, the very fuel of your soul, runs low. You may still pray, meditate, or go through your daily routines, but instead of feeling peace, you feel mechanical. Instead of feeling connected to God or your higher self, you feel distant. Instead of living with passion, you feel numb. This is spiritual burnout, the slow fading of your inner light. The signs are easy to miss at first. Maybe you've noticed that activities that once filled you with joy now feel like a burden. Perhaps your prayer feels empty, your meditation restless, or your acts of kindness feel forced rather than flowing from the heart. You may feel easily irritated, quick to anger, or emotionally unstable. Or perhaps you wake up in the morning and ask yourself, why do I feel so heavy even when nothing is wrong? These are not random feelings, they are signals that your soul is crying for renewal. One of the root causes of spiritual burnout is imbalance. We live in a world of constant demands: work, family, social responsibilities, even the endless noise of social media. We pour our time, energy, and attention into everything and everyone around us. But rarely do we pause to refill our own cup. You cannot give endlessly without receiving. You cannot pour endlessly without being poured into. Just like a well runs dry if it is not replenished, your spirit runs dry if it is not nourished. Another cause of burnout is disconnection. Disconnection from your inner self, from your higher power, and from your sense of purpose. When life becomes all about routine, wake up, work, eat, sleep, you begin to lose touch with the deeper meaning of your existence. Without meaning, even success feels empty. Without connection, even achievements feel hollow. Burnout thrives in this emptiness. But here is the good news. Recognizing spiritual burnout is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of awakening. Awareness is the first and most important step to healing. Just like a doctor cannot treat an illness until it is diagnosed, you cannot heal your spirit until you recognize what is draining it. When you become aware that your soul is tired, you open the door to renewal. So the first step to keeping your soul alive is understanding and admitting when burnout is happening. Don't ignore the whispers of your spirit. Don't numb the pain with distractions. Pay attention to the signals, because your soul is speaking. And the moment you recognize the signs of burnout, you give yourself permission to begin the journey of healing, restoration, and awakening. Reconnecting with your inner self. If spiritual burnout begins with disconnection, then the cure begins with reconnection. Reconnecting with your inner self, your heart, your soul, and the deeper purpose that makes life meaningful. Too often, we live our lives outwardly, rushing to meet deadlines, fulfilling responsibilities, scrolling through distractions, while neglecting the quiet voice inside us that longs for peace and alignment. Burnout thrives when we lose this inner connection. Healing begins when we find our way back. Reconnecting with your inner self means taking time to listen to what your soul is truly craving. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to hear the voices of others, your boss, your family, your friends, even the endless noise of the world? But how difficult it is to hear your own. Your soul is speaking every day, but in whispers. It asks you to slow down, to breathe, to reflect, to realign. The problem is not that your soul is silent. The problem is that your life is too loud. So how do we silence the noise and reconnect? The first step is creating stillness. Even 5 or 10 minutes of quiet can transform your day. Sit in a peaceful place, close your eyes, and simply breathe. Allow the racing thoughts to pass like clouds while you anchor yourself in the present. This stillness is not wasted time. It is sacred time. It is in silence that you hear your truest voice. The second way to reconnect is through self-reflection. Journaling is a powerful tool for this. Write down your feelings, your struggles, your questions. Don't censor yourself, just pour your heart onto paper. Often, the simple act of writing clears the fog and reveals what your soul has been trying to tell you all along. Reflection turns chaos into clarity. Another powerful method is asking yourself deep questions. Questions like, what am I holding onto that I need to release? Or, what gives me joy? Or, what is my soul hungry for right now? When you ask the right questions, your inner self always provides answers, sometimes in thoughts, sometimes in feelings, sometimes in subtle nudges. Reconnection also means honoring your needs. If your soul craves rest, give it rest. If it craves creativity, let it create. If it craves prayer, connection, or forgiveness, lean into those practices. Ignoring your needs is what caused the disconnection in the first place. Honoring them is how you rebuild. And perhaps most importantly, reconnecting with your inner self means being authentic. Burnout often comes when we live for others' expectations, wearing masks, pretending, or chasing approval. But your soul thrives on truth. The more you live as your authentic self, honest, aligned, and true, the more alive you feel. So the second step to avoiding spiritual burnout is this: pause and reconnect. Listen to the whispers of your soul. Give yourself permission to slow down and realign with what truly matters. Because the more connected you are to your inner self, the stronger, freer, and more alive your spirit will be.
Guarding your energy. One of the biggest causes of spiritual burnout is the constant leaking of your energy. Think of your energy as the very fuel of your soul. Every thought, every action, every interaction either strengthens it or drains it. When you guard your energy, you protect your inner flame. But when you give it away carelessly to negativity, to toxic people, to endless obligations, you eventually find yourself exhausted, empty, and burned out. The truth is, most of us spend our lives giving, and giving, but rarely stopping to refill our own cup. We believe that saying yes to everything makes us kind or responsible, but in reality, it makes us fragile. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Guarding your energy isn't selfish, it is an act of spiritual wisdom. It allows you to serve others from a place of strength rather than depletion. So how do you guard your energy? The first step is learning to set boundaries. Many people burn out simply because they don't know how to say no. They take on every request, every responsibility, every burden, until their spirit collapses under the weight. Boundaries are not walls, they are shields. A wall blocks love and connection, but a shield protects your peace while still allowing you to give from abundance. Saying no to what drains you is saying yes to what strengthens you. The second step is choosing your environment wisely. Energy is contagious. Spend time around negative people and you'll feel negative. Spend time in toxic environments and your spirit will weaken. But spend time around uplifting people, inspiring conversations, or peaceful environments, and you will feel renewed. Just like you are careful about what food you eat, be just as careful about what energy you consume. The third way to guard your energy is through mindful consumption. Every piece of content you watch, every post you scroll, every word you listen to, it all enters your mind and affects your soul. If you constantly consume fear, comparison, or gossip, burnout becomes inevitable. But if you choose to consume wisdom, positivity, and inspiration, your soul becomes nourished. Guarding your energy means being intentional about what you allow into your inner world. Another essential practice is self-care. This doesn't mean expensive vacations or luxury. It means simple, consistent habits that restore your soul. Taking time for prayer, walking in nature, practicing gratitude, or even just resting without guilt are forms of spiritual self-care. When you invest in yourself, you are not wasting time. You are recharging so you can show up stronger for life's demands.
Finally, remember that guarding your energy is about balance. Life will always have responsibilities and challenges, but balance means knowing when to give and when to rest, when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to simply be. Balance keeps your spirit steady, and steadiness prevents collapse. So the third step to avoiding spiritual burnout is clear. Guard your energy like it's your most valuable treasure, because it is. Protect it with boundaries, nourish it with positivity, and recharge it with self-care. The stronger your energy, the brighter your soul will shine, no matter what life throws your way. Finding renewal in daily practices. If burnout empties the soul, then renewal is what fills it back up. The good news is that spiritual renewal does not always come from big, dramatic experiences. It is often found in the small, consistent practices you do every single day. Just like the body needs food and water daily, the soul needs nourishment daily. The difference is this: when you neglect your body, you feel it quickly. But when you neglect your spirit, the decline is slower, quieter, and easier to ignore, until suddenly you find yourself burned out. Renewal is the key to keeping your soul alive. So what does renewal look like? It begins with simple spiritual practices. Start small. 5 minutes of prayer, a short reflection, or even writing down 3 things you're grateful for can shift your energy powerfully. You don't need hours. You need consistency. Think of it like drops of water on dry soil. One drop doesn't do much, but consistent drops turn barren ground into a flourishing garden. One of the most powerful renewal practices is gratitude. Every day, take a moment to notice what's good, even if life feels heavy. Gratitude rewires the mind to focus on abundance instead of lack. It doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. It means remembering that blessings still exist even in the middle of trials. A grateful heart is always a renewed heart. Another practice is mindful breathing and presence. We underestimate the power of one conscious breath. Taking a few moments to inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and become aware of the present moment resets the nervous system and calms the spirit. Breathing is not just a physical act, it's spiritual. Each breath reminds you that life is still within you, that you are still connected to the source of all life. Renewal can also come through reading and reflection. Sacred texts, wisdom literature, or motivational works feed the mind and soul with light. Even reading a single line of wisdom daily can shift your perspective. Pair it with reflection, journaling your thoughts, writing lessons you've learned, or simply recording moments of gratitude. This practice turns your life into a book of wisdom and keeps your spirit awake. Don't forget the power of nature. Stepping outside, feeling the sun, hearing the birds, walking barefoot on grass. These small actions recharge the spirit in ways we often overlook. Nature is a living reminder of renewal itself. Seasons change, flowers bloom, rivers flow. Spending time in it reminds your soul that it too can heal, reset, and flourish again. And finally, renewal thrives on consistency. The key is not doing something grand once in a while, but doing something small every day. A few moments of silence, a short prayer, an act of kindness, or simply sitting with yourself. These practices accumulate over time to keep your inner well full. So the fourth step to avoiding spiritual burnout is this: make daily renewal a non-negotiable. Feed your spirit with gratitude, prayer, reflection, breath, and presence. Because when you renew daily, burnout loses its power. Renewal is not a luxury, it is your lifeline. Living with love and balance. The final step to avoiding spiritual burnout is learning to live with love and balance. If awareness, reconnection, energy protection, and renewal are the roots of spiritual strength, then love and balance are the blossoms. They are the visible expression of a soul that is alive, steady, and at peace. Let's begin with love. At its core, spiritual burnout often comes from giving without love or living without love. When actions are fueled by pressure, obligation, or fear, they drain you. But when actions are fueled by love, they energize you.
Love is the highest vibration, the strongest shield, and the purest form of renewal. Living with love means infusing kindness, compassion, and sincerity into everything you do. Even the smallest acts, speaking gently, offering help, forgiving someone, become powerful sources of strength when done with love. Love is not just for others, it begins with yourself. Many people burn out because they neglect self-love. They criticize themselves harshly, push themselves endlessly, and forget that they too deserve compassion. But when you practice self-love, by treating yourself with patience, by allowing yourself to rest, by speaking to yourself kindly, you recharge your spirit. A soul filled with love for itself has more love to give to the world. Now let's talk about balance. Burnout thrives in imbalance. It happens when you give too much without receiving, when you stay busy without resting, when you focus on others and forget yourself, or when you chase achievement while neglecting peace. Balance doesn't mean living a perfect life. It means learning when to push and when to pause, when to give and when to receive, when to act and when to simply be. One of the most important balances is between doing and being. We live in a culture that glorifies constant doing. Work harder, achieve more, stay busy. But your spiatiyen. It also needs moments of being, just sitting in silence, enjoying presence, connecting to God, or appreciating life as it is. Balance means creating space for both. Another balance is between service and self-care. Serving others gives life meaning, but if you serve endlessly without caring for yourself, burnout is inevitable. On the other hand, focusing only on yourself without serving leads to emptiness. Balance is found in giving while also receiving, in helping while also healing yourself. Living with balance also means aligning your lifestyle with your values. If you say family matters but give them no time, you create inner conflict. If you say peace matters but fill your life with chaos, your spirit weakens. Balance is not about perfection, it's about alignment. The more your daily actions align with your values, the stronger and calmer your soul becomes. So the fifth and final step to avoiding spiritual burnout is this. Live with love and balance. Let love guide your words, actions, and thoughts. Let balance shape your choices so you don't drift into extremes. A life rooted in love and balanced in all things will keep your soul alive, vibrant, and unshakable. Living with love and balance. The final step to avoiding spiritual burnout is learning to live with love and balance. If awareness, reconnection, energy protection, and renewal are the roots of spiritual strength, then love and balance are the blossoms. They are the visible expression of a soul that is alive, steady, and at peace. Let's begin with love. At its core, spiritual burnout often comes from giving without love or living without love. When actions are fueled by pressure, obligation, or fear, they drain you. But when actions are fueled by love, they energize you. Love is the highest vibration, the strongest shield, and the purest form of renewal. Living with love means infusing kindness, compassion, and sincerity into everything you do. Even the smallest acts, speaking gently, offering help, forgiving someone, become powerful sources of strength when done with love. Love is not just for others. We have now journeyed through 5 powerful steps to avoid spiritual burnout. Understanding what burnout truly is, reconnecting with your inner self, guarding your energy, finding renewal in daily practices, and living with love and balance. Each of these is like a piece of a puzzle, and when you put them together, they create a clear picture of how to keep your soul alive and strong in a world that constantly tries to drain it. Let's reflect for a moment. The first step was understanding spiritual burnout. We learned that burnout doesn't mean you are weak. It means your soul is signaling that it needs attention. Awareness is the first act of healing. When you notice the emptiness, the exhaustion, or the disconnection, don't ignore it. See it for what it is, a message from your soul asking for renewal. The second step was reconnecting with your inner self.
Burnout often begins when we lose touch with our own heart. We get so busy serving, working, and striving that we forget to ask, what does my soul need right now? Taking time for silence, reflection, and authenticity allows us to hear the whispers of our soul again. Reconnection brings alignment, and alignment brings peace. The third step was guarding your energy. Your energy is precious, and without it, your spirit cannot thrive. Boundaries are not selfish, they are sacred. Protecting yourself from toxic environments, limiting negative consumption, and practicing self-care are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Guarding your energy ensures that you don't give from emptiness, but from abundance. The fourth step was finding renewal in daily practices. Renewal is not about one grand retreat or one big spiritual experience. It's about the small, consistent habits that keep your soul alive. Gratitude, prayer, reflection, mindful breathing, time in nature. These practices are drops of water for your soul. Over time, they fill it.
Well, you're well and ensure that burnout never takes over. Finally, the fifth step was living with love and balance. Love is the highest energy. It heals, restores, and strengthens. Balance ensures that you don't fall into extremes, that you live in harmony between giving and receiving, between action and stillness, between service and self-care. Together, love and balance are the blossoms of a soul that is rooted, steady, and alive. Now here's the truth. Avoiding spiritual burnout doesn't mean you will never feel tired, stressed, or overwhelmed again. It means that when those moments come, you will know how to respond. You will have the awareness to recognize it, the tools to restore yourself, and the strength to rise again. Burnout will no longer control you, because your spirit will know how to heal itself. So I leave you with this question. Which step will you begin practicing today? Will you start by noticing the signs, reconnecting with your heart, guarding your energy, renewing daily, or living with love and balance? Remember, your soul is your most valuable treasure. Guard it, nourish it, and let it shine. Burnout is not the end. It is simply a call to rise higher. Keep your soul alive because the world needs the light that only you can bring.